Welcome to King 5. I'm Greg Copeland. This is The Week, a look at what made headlines in our region, along with your weekend forecast. First up, new questions are emerging about response times in a deadly stabbing on the Key Peninsula that left 4 dead. In a first on-camera interview, a family member describes the warning signs in the hours before the attack and the desperate calls for help that followed. King 5's Bridget Chavez has more from Tacoma Police Headquarters.
We now know there were 52 minutes between the first 911 call and the moment the deputy fired shots. We're now hearing from the partner of the suspect's sister, Anastasia, who says this tragedy did not have to end this way.
It's almost unbelievable.
For Rob Knowles, the grief is still raw.
I don't think anybody had to die. Not even Alex, you know.
Investigators say 4 people were stabbed outside this Key Peninsula home Tuesday morning before a Pierce County deputy shot and killed the suspect, 32-year-old Alexander Shablikin, the brother of Anastasia Shablikina, Knowles' partner. Knowles says the unraveling began the night before.
What if I didn't recognize that he was off his meds? 12 hours, so that's all it took, was 12 more hours for him to be off and out of control.
He says Alexander had been living in his garage for 10 months while waiting for housing, but Monday night his behavior changed. Knowles says when he and Anastasia found out he stopped taking medication for bipolar disorder, they ordered him to leave and called police. He says Alexander drove off before officers got there. Anastasia feared he would go to their mother, Zoya Shablikina's home, despite an active protection order. Tuesday morning, that fear became reality.
He came to the house and he wouldn't leave, and he locked her out. Her cat was in there with him.
Knowles says Zoya called Anastasia and told her she already called police.
I almost think that he may have been torturing her cat, and she saw that and got a neighbor.
Investigators say 3 neighbors stepped in to try to help. All 3 of them killed.
I can't help but think, you know, it's not just those other families too. I know what went wrong with Alex. They don't. I mean, they were just trying to help Zoya.
Here's what we know about the 911 calls and response that morning. The first call coming in at 8:41 to report a protection order violation. Then by 9:33, a deputy shot and killed Alexander. That's a span of 52 minutes. But beyond the timelines and the questions, he says this is about a daughter who lost her mother.
She cried out that she didn't want to be here anymore. And she'll go from my mom's, where she wanted to be, and she was ready. And she's with Jesus to I miss my mom.
We've reached out to Tacoma Police and the Pierce County Sheriff's Departments with our questions on those response call times, and we're waiting to hear back. Tacoma Police say they should have an update for us on this investigation next week. In Tacoma, Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Well, the city of Tukwila has approved an emergency ban on new detention centers within city limits. That decision comes after reports that ICE is looking to expand its footprint there. King 5's Sharon Yu reports.
This is the private location where ICE might be looking to expand some office space, and this news has gotten a lot of people talking about what might be next for the area.
This is a document from the Department of Homeland Security that shows ICE's intentions to expand both its detention facilities and office space. It says, quote, the model includes the acquisition and renovation of 8 large-scale detention centers and 16 processing sites, as well as the acquisition of 10 existing turnkey facilities where ICE ERO already operates. With news of ICE possibly leasing space at Riverfront Technical Park in Tukwila, the city released a statement saying it cannot regulate private lease agreements.
On this side of the floor, we have some of our care management staff.
ICE's growing presence in the area is a huge concern for residents, including the vice president of Seymour Community Health Centers nearby.
People in the community are fearful of ICE, even those who are documented and have legal status here.
And as a place in charge of people's health care, Seymour is seeing people make difficult choices.
We've heard of a lot of our patients who choose not to come for their appointments when they're seeing that ICE has a presence.
While local governments can't ban private properties from leasing out its office space, they can ban the creation of new detention centers. The city of SeaTac is one of the first cities to do so via a moratorium or a temporary ban.
SeaTac is a very small community compared to other big cities in this area.
Mayor Mohammed Iqbal says hosting another detention center on top of the one that already exists in SeaTac would drain city resources.
It will affect us for our public safety. We have a very small police department. It will affect our infrastructure. It will affect a lot of things that we don't have capacity, basically.
Seattle has followed suit and introduced a similar ban up for city council discussion next month. The city of Tukwila is also considering emergency legislation tonight. CMAR's Michael Long says they're doing all they can to offer remote services, but some things just have to be face-to-face.
It's not just patients coming in, it's also our staff too. Our staff are obviously very nervous whenever they hear that ICE may be in the neighborhood.
We reached out to the owners of this commercial office park, but they declined to comment. In King County, Sharon Yu, King 5 News.
Violence erupted in parts of Mexico after security forces targeted one of the country's most powerful cartel leaders. Seattle area travelers in Puerto Vallarta were urged to stay inside. We spoke with one tourist who said their resort ran out of food. King 5's Bridget Chavez reports.
This is one of the photos that a Seattle woman took outside her Puerto Vallarta resort. After being told to stay inside Sunday, she stepped out today and saw charred vehicles and damage just a few feet away.
If you can see, there's metal liquid and the glass is all melted.
That's Jolene Jang. She flew to Mexico from Seattle for a break from the gray.
Our resort ran out of food yesterday. We had breakfast at 9 and then by 12 there was actually no food.
A sunny getaway for her and her boyfriend has quickly taken a chaotic turn.
We had a code red to stay in place and not leave.
Violence broke out in parts of Jalisco after Mexican security forces killed Nemesio El Mencho Oseguera, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
I just wish there was more information. I wish they would send a note out to say, hey, stay in. There's problems outside of the resort. Stay in. You know, that's so important. Otherwise, we don't know.
She says beyond the resort walls,
And people are in line here, I think, to buy something.
locals are hurting.
And I did see one place selling chicken, but otherwise everything was closed this morning. So hopefully things will open up soon. I feel so bad for the locals whose cars were burnt down, and they need the money from the tourists. So that's a tough one.
She says until they can get home, they're lying low.
Why risk it? We're not familiar with this. So just kind of follow what the code red means, shelter in place.
Jolene and her boyfriend are scheduled to fly back to Seattle on Thursday. So far, she says their flight is still on schedule. Bridget Chavez, King 5 News.
Seattle rideshare drivers are urging Uber and Lyft to stop adding new drivers to what they call an already flooded market where the number of drivers far outpaces rider demand. King 5's Madeline Carter was there as they brought their concerns and their megaphones outside Uber's engineering offices in downtown Seattle.
Rush hour in downtown Seattle. Washington's drivers union specifically chose the busiest time on the road, Wednesday, to send a message.
So we're here to say, stop Uber flooding our streets. Stop Lyft flooding our streets with too many vehicles.
Among the dozens of rideshare drivers who gathered outside Uber's engineering offices at 2nd and Seneca, Umaru Saku knows the struggle firsthand. Too many Uber and Lyft drivers in Seattle and not enough riders.
You gotta park somewhere sometime for 3-4 hours, no customer.
A new report released Wednesday reveals the majority of miles driven by local Uber drivers are now without a passenger.
This is a driver's waiting for a ride in downtown Seattle.
This Uber app screenshot was taken 2 to 3 years ago, when the drivers union president says the problem started. Now, the number of rideshare drivers is growing nearly 7 times faster than rider demand, flooding the market with riderless rideshare vehicles.
It's gotta be overdrive, but it's empty.
Umaru watched as at least 10 empty Ubers went by during Wednesday's protest, which for each driver means lost revenue.
Last week from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I make only $5. How you gonna pay your bill for $5?
And he himself can't afford to wait for customers much longer.
Maybe I gotta be homeless in the street because I don't have money to pay my bill no more.
Drivers say riders can help them by tipping. In the meantime, the drivers' union is making sure the companies
Can you hear me, Uber?
hear their message
What do we want? Justice.
loud and clear.
When do we want it? Now.
When we come back, final reflections from the Olympic Games as athletes and fans say goodbye to Milan. First, though, meteorologist Adam Claybon has a look at the weekend forecast right after this.
Hey there, everyone. Here we go. We're heading into the weekend, and we're heading into the month of March. I'm meteorologist Adam Claybon here with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery and kind of show you how things are shaping up for us right now. And you can see that swirl of low pressure out over the Pacific. Well, you got that system there, and then another one up across the Gulf of Alaska. We're kind of stuck in between, and things are going to be quieter for us as we head on into the weekend, especially once we have this frontal boundary push off to our south, which is going to add a slight chill to the air heading on into the day on Saturday. Although we will see clearing skies from north to south. We'll talk about that in a bit, and we'll continue to see clearing skies into the second half of the weekend as Sunday looks to be the warmer day of the two, also the brighter day of the two as well. And we want to keep skies as clear as possible because there's a total lunar eclipse that will be happening Monday night into early Tuesday morning. And the forecast, not looking to be the worst, but also we do have some clouds heading to the area at that point. So we'll get into that here in a second. But first, wanted to show you how things are looking pretty quiet and dry here until we head into next Wednesday. So radar, yeah, shower activity mainly moving across southern parts of Canada and then heading down into Montana, parts of the Dakotas, and eventually through parts of the Plains and the Great Lakes. High pressure going to be building in for us, so as we get this system on out of here, on into your day on Saturday, we expect to see clearing skies. And again, thicker clouds will be possible farther to the south, so expect to see maybe a bit more cloudiness down there, especially from areas around Thurston County and southward, while areas farther to the north, we'll see more of that sun in place. Here we are into early Sunday morning. There could be a few patchy areas of fog to start off the day there. Now, not expecting that to be a widespread issue, but you can see those milky shadings right there, kind of evident of kind of the pattern that we're going to be in here as we go over the next few mornings. Just clear skies. Sometimes we get that fog, and it looks like that will be a possibility again heading on into the time there. And then into the day on, looks like Monday. A few of those clouds coming in from the north. Nothing too thick, nothing too really dense. So again, we're still having that chance of maybe seeing that lunar eclipse as we head on into Monday night and early into Tuesday. Now we are going to see some chillier temperatures into the day Saturday, but most of our time is expected to be rather mild. Highs in the mid-50s. We'll take that Sunday through Tuesday for the first 3 days of March, and then maybe slightly cooler, but still around average as we head on into the second half of next work week. All right, let's talk about that lunar eclipse. That's all going to start up here for us Monday night, and we're talking late Monday night, 12:44 a.m., which is technically early into Tuesday morning. And as we go throughout the night, of course, we're keeping an eye out for clouds, but totality, when is that going to be? Well, it looks like that's going to be right around 3:30 in the morning, Tuesday morning. And you continue to see things becoming a bit more full with that moon again as that eclipse does make its way on out of here. We see, again, more of the full moon at that point. Temperatures will be kind of chilly during the night, so make sure that you are prepared for that if you're going to be trying to stay up and watch that whole event. As far as temperatures early into Saturday morning, upper 30s to low 40s. Looks like we'll see highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. So a few 50s out there. And then once we head on into more of the day on Sunday, we'll get back into those mid 50s. We'll take that 55 on Monday and then 54 heading to Tuesday before showers do make their way back into the forecast. And we'll be slightly more active, but nothing really too major with any of those systems heading on later into next week. All right, everyone. Well, enjoy your weekend and welcome to March. We'll have more updates for you coming up next week.
Welcome back to the week. A Tacoma family is shaken after their home was shot up and a 21-year-old woman grazed by several bullets while she slept. King 5's Tim Nelson spoke with her family about what happened.
That's the rude awakening Stephen Taylor and his family faced on Tuesday.
They think it's his Grand Theft Auto or something?
This was no video game. 3 people were in the front yard taking aim at the house.
I was just worried about my daughter's
life. She was asleep in a front bedroom and wound up with 5 wounds, one near her chest.
They just kind of grazed her by the grace of God, really. But honestly, it was just a really horrific experience.
Joseph Glover was in bed with his girlfriend, Stephen's other daughter, one room over.
Yeah, now processing how it could have been and how it really happened, it's just, we're
We're
very grateful.
So it was right at 4 a.m. when this car pulled up on South D Street in South Tacoma. The guys got out and unloaded at least 50 shots against the house.
This bullet right here was found in the blanket that his daughter Emma was sleeping in at the time of the shooting.
So you can see they're not very big, but
they're kind of
I guess they're a little 9mm. We're not sure what kind. The officers didn't really go into explicit detail, but we're just shocked at the number of holes that were right when she was sleeping right there.
Taylor isn't sure why or even if they were specifically targeted. Perhaps a case of mistaken identity. No one's been arrested.
Hannah's graduation from high school, and they shot right through us. It's like, how does that even happen? It's just symbolic. I almost want to hang this on the wall someday to remind us of what we're living through.
Back outside, the evidence is another reminder of how precious life is.
I don't want to cry, but this has brought people together.
In Tacoma, Jim Nelson.
Hate's not going to win. Sorry, hate's not going to win, you know.
King 5 News.
Well, 2 men are recovering after surviving a boat explosion near Port Townsend. Both were treated in the burn unit at Harborview Medical Center. Once again, here's Jim Nelson.
It did not take long.
Microseconds.
For Walter Bastido's sailboat to go up.
It was extremely rapid.
In flames.
Quick. Couldn't react in time at all.
After he tried lighting the stove on the 50-foot wooden boat on Sunday.
And when I struck the lighter, it blew up. It caught me in the front, caught my partner, and it also burnt my dog.
Crews found them in a dinghy in Glen Cove and brought them to shore. They had burns to more than 20% of their bodies.
The pain was instantaneous.
They were flown to Harborview in Seattle.
Did at any point you feel like you weren't going to make it?
No, because me and my partner both are survivors.
I can tell that hurts right now.
Oh yeah, but you know, what can I do about it? Live through it. I made a major mistake. My partner said that he smelled propane. I ignored the statement. If you're on a sailboat and you have propane, move your sensors below your stove, not above.
Propane is heavier than air, so it falls. Lessons aside, the focus now is rehab and recovery.
It sucks that I lost my boat, but it happens.
Is your dog okay?
I actually don't know because it ran off.
Okay.
He's a good dog.
It's one of the most extreme sports on the planet, and it's becoming more popular here in the U.S. We're talking about swimming miles through water that's barely above freezing. And as one Washington woman pushes to break records, Mother Nature has other plans. Meteorologist Leah Pizzetti with our Environment Northwest team explains.
It's more than what it appears on the surface. A frigid sport not for the faint of heart. If you dive a little deeper, it paints the picture of a global issue felt right here in Washington waters.
Sun's out, fun's out.
While basking on this mild winter day.
The sun slows stuff down because it's nice.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Really good.
And gawking at this guy.
See, that just looks super cold. I mean, it's like really windy out there.
This group prepares to plunge.
Ice swimming is a self-induced hypothermic sport.
A sport that requires swimming long distances in water colder than 41 degrees. Melissa Kegler briefly held the U.S. record for distance in 2022. And she's now training to claim that record again.
I get hypothermia every time I do it, but it's intentional, and you kind of train yourself to understand how your body reacts to hypothermia. So it's in a really controlled manner. I would say hearing myself say that kind of makes me sound crazy.
To get her body used to it, she seeks out bodies of cold water, which is never an issue in the winter.
I call it chasing the cold around Washington. I'll go and intentionally train at certain spots around Washington to prepare for ice swimming.
Here at Alki, the scenery is what draws them to train.
Oh, Seal! Hi, buddy. Hey, buddy! Hi, guy! Oh my gosh, he's gonna come over.
Even though it's about 7 degrees warmer than the 41-degree criteria.
Melissa, it's really warm today. Is it?
This helps build that endurance for the coldest water.
It's been a long time since we've been down here yonder at really low tide like this.
Something that for the first time in her more than decade-long ice swimming career, Melissa can't find here.
I think that's the frustrating part is I've been subjecting myself to hypothermia for 1.5 years. Woo! For Mother Nature to take my starting line away. Too warm, doesn't work.
And the data supports that.
This winter's been warmer than most winters that we've been able to record so far.
Dakota Mascarenas is a University of Washington PhD candidate studying estuaries like Puget Sound. She says records show long-term, Puget Sound temperatures increase by about 3 degrees every 100 years. But this winter's anomaly is almost that drastic.
It's 2 degrees warmer this year than the mean of the last 20 years.
That's significant.
Yeah, it is actually significant. It is statistically significant as well as a big deal for the region.
It's partially because of the warmer winter season, but also beyond that, a warming Pacific Ocean that feeds the sound.
Yeah, it's definitely a big domino effect. If the ocean's getting warmer and the air is getting warmer, and then the water is definitely going to get warmer in Puget Sound.
Hey, buddy!
And that domino continues to everything living underneath.
How's that guy?
Like critters Melissa has an up-close view of while training, a draw for this sport.
It's amazing because you kind of think of the water as just, a body of water, but it's so alive when you go in it. There could be orcas out there.
While she waits to find a waterway cold enough to compete,
It's a good day for some orcas.
she trains wherever she can.
Okay, we can do it.
Hoping for the sake of everyone,
That's probably my mantra. We can do it.
things will cool down.
My goals change, but right now, as any athlete would want, they just want the opportunity to try.
For Environment Northwest, I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti.
Well, it's not just medals athletes brought home, but memories they will never forget. King 5's Jake Wittenberg was in Milan with a final goodbye from the games.
One of the first things I noticed about the Olympics is the pride, not just among the Italians here in this beautiful city of Milan, but among all of the people that come here during the Olympics to represent the 93 nations that make up this global tradition.
If there was one way to describe it, that feeling, whether it's in the frozen peaks or at the heart of the arena, the people.
It's just such a fun, amazing place where everyone can celebrate sport. It doesn't matter your nationality, we're coming together to celebrate sport.
The moments.
Just so honored to be her teammate.
The games. How can you describe something so big like the Olympics?
Go USA!
Something so much bigger than one person or one flag.
Sharing your heritage and saying, this is where we've come from.
It's not one way or another way or the Norway. It's pride. When the voices here speak for the millions back home. No matter the language or the nation or the culture you're just learning, the Olympics kindle a sense of pride. That all of us are better together.
Let's go! Let's go!
Moments of triumph and tears of joy for 17 days. Borders dissolve into lanes, and into chants, and a realization that the Olympics brings a sense of belonging.
I'm lucky I'm from the best country in the world. We got great dentists there too, so.
I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on that podium, and I'm gonna go for it.
Inspiration. A sense of place and a feeling of home.
So what's next for the Olympics? Well, it's back to the United States in just 2 years for the Summer Games in Los Angeles. Then it's the Winter Games in 2030, returning to France, just 130 miles from here. In Milan, Jake Wittenberg, King 5 News.
And thanks for your time. We hope you enjoyed a look at the biggest stories of the week.